Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third and final round of the 2021 Minnesota Amateur Championships. We're out here at Kaposia Park in South St. Paul. And coming into this round, Joseph Calabrese all knotted up with Andy Wacha. Just off the pace of that, Cody Parsons and Cyrus Watrin, who we also saw in round number 2. We're here for the back half and what should be an exciting conclusion with just about 14 holes left to play. We're here on hole number 14, 230 feet. Really just a tunnel shot. You see there's danger on, of course, both the left and the right side. You need to throw this one straight. It even somewhat fades down into the left, as you see off just left of the pin there. You have a little bit of a hill to throw over the top of to get started. Not so much that it's drastic, but you get the nose of the disc up a little bit, and sometimes you see it fade hard left like we just saw there. That is Cody Parsons, who's worked himself into second place at 19 under. Andy also fading left. Andy has now built himself a 3-stroke lead over this man, the 14-year-old Joseph Calabrese. They both came in at 18 under to start the round. And another young player, Cyrus Watrin, just 17 years of age. Right up the middle, which is the important part. And out of position, although we've seen this forehand flick approach by Cody from circle 2 and a few other spots. That one not quite the height. It's easy to let this one get away from you, and then you could find yourself way down where Andy is, and thankfully that sits. Joseph with an opportunity to gain one back now on the leader. This could bring him into a tie for second with Cody. Count it.
Oh, it's right there.
At 230 feet, somewhat surprised to see this play over par at 3.07. Park job for Cyrus. That was even closer than it looked like it would be out of his hands. Tap in par for Cody as well as Andy. So a pair of birdies. You see things remain tight here atop the leaderboard. Thanks. Everyday Disc Golf, thank you so much. We'll move on to hole 15. Maybe the most treacherous hole on the course, 510 feet to the long pin. They deem this as a par 5. I believe in some previous years I've seen it listed as a 4 or a 5, but it's really a big hyzer off of the tee, and then from there you're likely scrambling. It's tough to find an unobstructed view of the pin on your second shot.
Oh, huge skip. Wow.
And in this case, a huge skip is going to probably be advantageous here. Oh, and it misses. It looks like just about everything. We'll see how far to the left that carried, but good looking shot there by Cyrus. Another huge skip, and I don't want to jinx it, but 3 for 3 without squaring up or hitting any significant tree is impressive in itself. Can we go 4 for 4? And that one looks like it got caught up just a little bit. Andy then ultimately pitching back out to the fairway. And here's what I mean by you're going to have a scattered fairway, so to speak, no matter where you land on this hole. The high right side for Cyrus. And a roller shot telling you just how skinny things need to get up there.
Highlight reel.
Calling for the highlight reel. I like it. Joseph has work to do. 2 back of Andy. That's Andy's 3rd. Cyrus and his 3rd shot. And as I do a little looking, if you're just joining us for the first time, Cody Parsons listed as being out of Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. The time of this event, rated 966. So you see the birdie there by Andy. He's rated 949 at this event. Out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. On the short putt eludes him, and Cyrus will be stepping up. Cyrus, also Minnesota native. Rated 935 at the time of this event. Coming to us from Wyoming, Minnesota. And then the Eagle, the easy tap-in Eagle. As they said, that's for the highlight reel out of Shoreview, Minnesota for Joseph. So scoring opportunity for sure. A 3 means you threw a couple of really good shots, and you're going to be rewarded with the Eagle. Our title sponsor here of the Minnesota Am Champs being Prodigy. Thank you, guys. We move on to 16. Just 245 feet, slightly uphill. Definitely favors a straight shot by a righty backhand thrower, because if you throw it low and flat, you should be able to get it to scoot up anywhere inside of that final tree there. Should give you a look at it. And just like that, Joseph within now 1 of Andy and 2 ahead of Cody. And riding that momentum. Good looking birdie shot there. Or at least an opportunity. And picture perfect by Cyrus. This hole averages 2.87, so it's under par. And the hole that they just previously played, although the par 5, it averaged 4.59, so came in as statistically one of the easier holes on the course. That is short and left, but still a very makeable putt here for Cody. Count it. What a putt. Cody pushing to 20 under, making up for the short missed putt on the previous hole. Let's see if that can ignite a star frame, and Andy not able to convert. And certainly leaving himself vulnerable to give up a share of the lead as that drops in for Joseph. And just like that, a 3-stroke deficit erased here in the last couple of holes. And we are knotted up at 22. Cody, 2 back. Cyrus will move to 14 under. And with that, we move on to hole 17. Maybe a little snack break for some double G jerky? Boom sauce? Yeah, okay. Straightforward, hole 17. Gonna play this one as suggested. A little bit short. Play a skip shot. Feels like a must-get birdie out here. I've seen it cause plenty of trouble, but it feels like it's a must-get birdie. See all mids and or putters. That one a little short and left, but a favorable kick. Bring him a little bit closer. Cyrus now 8 back. All of our leaders in Andy and Joseph. Keeping an eye on the chase card and really no one coming up and challenging the lead at the moment. However, podium spots in the top 5 certainly all in question overall. Let's pull to the right side for Cody. Here's Andy. High release, catches early wood for Andy. And this is where mentally you just have to stay strong, knowing it's one of the easier holes on the course. You didn't throw a good tee shot, and you have to mitigate it. You have to just say, okay, I'm going to walk away with the par and hope that at worst I lose a stroke. You don't want to turn your frustration into a bogey or worse. Online for Cody, just short. Joseph sees an opportunity. The question is, can he capitalize? And yeah, the firm putt here on 17. He becomes your outright leader at 23 under. And doesn't quite connect. So since coming in, we've seen the birdie by Joseph, the eagle, and that is heartbreaking. I'll try to carry on with the thought that we've seen the eagle then on 15, and now the birdie on 16, the birdie on 17. He's gone 5 under through the last 4 holes. And Andy, on the other hand, has now gone even on those last 4 holes with the bogey here. So quite a shift in momentum. Wow, let's see how it carries out again. 27-hole course. Hey, speaking of 27 holes, you can usually find 27 holes in play, or at least 25 holes over at Sandy Point Resort, east of the Twin Cities by about 4 hours. And here we are on hole 18, downhill. The path and beyond is out of bounds. The creek here plays as casual, but on or over the path is actually out of bounds. So if you're going to miss, you need to miss to the right-hand side. The short forehand will be just fine for Joseph. That's also staying right. We'll see what kind of lie he's left with, but that will be safe for Cyrus. This average is just a little over par at 3.03. You hear a sigh of relief coming from Cody. Also off in the distance, that's the next tee, the tee for hole 19. Oh, just short, but a solid forehand by Andy. Oh, from downtown. Way back, Cyrus. Huge birdie putt. That's got to feel good. He'll make his way up and eventually retrieve it. Wow, and from the hillside, keeping the train rolling, Joseph pushes to 24 under. Also, that is his third birdie in a row. He's had 4 birdies in the last 5 holes, plus an eagle. And although these guys have made it look somewhat easy, walking up to 18, you would not think, oh yeah, here comes a star frame. But that's exactly what this card did. So they are 2/3 of the way through their round. This is a PDGA A tier as we move into hole number 19, 345 feet. Plays probably closer to 425, maybe even some would say 450. I guess 450 is probably even an understatement. And then you need it to sit down. Otherwise, it can very easily catch edge on any one of these routes or any part of this hillside. And some of the longest rollaways you could ever see in disc golf take place right here on 19. So clearly angle control, absolutely crucial. Oh, nice flip up for Cyrus. Seen plenty of shots by Cody to indicate he's got a lot of power. That one is left side, so not able to get a full flex motion out of it. Oh, and just off the mark. Although it carries forward, that was not far from being just about perfect for Andy. And now, this is the hillside I spoke of. Of course, you're worried about how the disc lands, but large part of the challenge on this hole is just getting good footing so that you can get your body and everything else aligned and stable. And that sits. Great recovery shot for Andy. A pause, hoping to not see the disc roll backwards. Good shot by Cody. And here's one of those scenarios you really have to think, am I trying to put this in? Where am I trying to land it? Am I actually trying to hit anything? That one worked out, but sometimes if you're too aggressive, you hit a basket, you hit a cage or a pole, and it can get up and roll away from you. Those are things you need to be thinking about. That if you're not trying to make it, make sure you don't hit something that could cause it to get up and run away. I've seen this listed, I believe, as both a par 3 and a par 4 throughout the years. It's going to play as a relatively easy par 4, especially for this card, as you can see, all looking at the easy tap-ins. And statistically, this played as the easiest hole on the course throughout the entire weekend, I believe, averaging 3.49. So call it a tough par 3, possibly, because there were no eagles on it, or a relatively easy par 4. Take your choice. Here we are for hole 20. This is a par 5, 495 feet. You need to get ideally to that opening. This is the short pin, and then it carries all the way past that, another 150, maybe 200 feet. And you're again throwing up the hill. I think, all the way back to hole 15. And, that was listed as a par 5. And I feel like if you throw a somewhat similar shot to what you throw on 15's tee shot, which is a long righty backhand, and most importantly, if you can keep it clean, that's going to increase your chances of possibly getting up there for either an eagle or a birdie. And you see that a little bit of work to do here for Andy. He's just trying to get past the opening where that sunlight is. Go to the sunlight. Bare minimum, you need to be out of the gap here on 2 shots. And I didn't know that was coming by Cody, but yeah, he's still pushing out.
Whoa, you split those trees. It's so perfect.
And we'll see where that leaves him. But that was his 3rd. And outside of the footing, which is always going to be tough on this hole, this is about as much as you could ask for.
Whoa.
And he hits an alternative line somehow right through those trees. He doesn't go through the big gap there. He goes right through the little trees. And that was also a great position there for Cyrus. Here's Andy's 3rd. And just as you see the slope in front of Cyrus, that's essentially the same slope that goes down behind the basket. Hence, he's going to see if that caught edge or not.
Ooh. It's okay. It rolled like 10 feet, but it's okay.
Thanks for the commentary assist there, Cyrus. I appreciate it. Big shout out, actually, to my buddy Dustin, who was able to go capture the footage. I think I was doing something on the Pro Tour side this particular weekend and worked with Tom and Everyday Disc Golf to have my buddy Dustin hustle over the 5.5 or 6 hours and spend a few days in Minnesota, and really couldn't ask for a better weekend to do so. Cody right there in the thick of things, 23 under. Joseph, who's just been on a tear, picks up yet another birdie. That's his 5th birdie in a row. Prior to that, he had an eagle and a birdie to that. So trying to distance himself, and Andy here, unfortunately, not helping his own cause. Stiff headwind. No, and that falls out on the left, high left side. And a painful double bogey. That is going to be a 7 for Andy, and more importantly, a 3-stroke swing between him and Joseph. Hi, Cyrus. My Disc in a Box has all your shipping needs. Reach out to me. That is a product that I put together along with a pal of mine, and whether you're shipping 1 disc or you need to alter it to fit 2 or 3 discs, it is adjustable. Also sell 2 and 4 mil bags as an option to make sure you're protecting your disc. And everyone loves my Disc in a Box. Reach out if you need one. Or should I say a carton of 100. That's how I sell them. Low forehand by Joseph is going to really leave him out of position. And thank you, Cyrus. Those two trees are a great landmark. If you get just to the right of those, but about that distance, you're setting yourself up for the second shot. Everything hard right and in this tree line not only is trouble, but also there's a very steep hill that goes off to the right-hand side. So you really can't cut the corner any closer than the tree line. And if you've got a forehand like that, you need to take advantage. Great shot there by Andy. And there's the very quick pitch up to try and get around the corner. We also see Cody now lining up. And a couple of years ago, he may not have been able to do that. We've seen an ice hockey or ice skating rink off to the left-hand side of this hole that used to come into play, and it has since been removed. But you see that they have still flagged it as almost as if it were there. So still trying to keep the element of challenge and out of bounds that would have otherwise been there if that ice rink was still there and in play. See the approach by Joseph. In playing this hole a number of times throughout the last few decades, this is, even ice rink there or not, this hole has definitely always been a little bit of a bonus birdie. I'm going to assume there haven't been too many birdies. I haven't cheated and looked at the stats for this one yet, but I got to assume birdies are hard to come by. Hole 21 coughed up exactly 0 birdies, actually. I think it's going to come in as one of the most difficult holes on the course, averaging 3.83, and 0 birdies were given up here on hole 21. And now we play to the blind, hole number 22. I've seen this in a couple of different pin positions, and it's in the longer one this year. You're really throwing a blind hyzer. Normally the pin is right here, but it actually has been pushed back and making it much, much tougher to access. Cyrus with the honors.
That didn't do it, I don't know what will.
Cyrus calling it a good shot, saying if that didn't do it, he doesn't know what will. Well, we're going to see how that pans out. I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think I've ever seen it played to this position. I'm guessing it's been around for a while, but anytime I've either competed or filmed, I've always seen it in the shorter position, which just really felt like almost a brainless stock hyzer. Now you got to put a little bit more power on it. Joseph's birdie and eagle string came to a very abrupt stop with the bogey on the previous hole. Just 2 ahead of Cody. And Cyrus pushed a little too far right, it appears. He may have actually gotten some bad play off of some of the branches as that came in. Not a lot of birdies before this card had gotten here. In fact, Chris Lundquist, up into this point, the only birdie on this hole. Good stop. Easy tap in for Cody. He'll remain at 23 with a tap in. Cyrus not able to convert from downtown, as we've seen a few longer putts, like back on 18. Andy's going to walk away with a par, remain at 21. And I said it earlier, Chris Lundquist was the only person up into this point. Well, he walked away with literally the only birdie here on hole number 22 on the day. Averaged .66 above par, so not such a bad thing. And Cyrus would have loved a par, but he'll walk away, moving to 16 under. And things certainly remaining tight. Just a few holes left to play. We got the brief walk over to 23, 495 feet. This is a par 4. One of the easier par 4s that you'll find out here. Of course, sidewalk and beyond on the right side is out of bounds. You'd love to land anywhere at this tree or past it. That will give you a good pitch up to the pin. A little bit of a slope at the end of the fairway there. Say at the end of the green. So you do have to sometimes be a little delicate. The one place besides the obvious OB right, the one place you don't want to be is on the left. I think short is fine. You just do not want to find yourself on the left side fighting through some of the shrubbery in the woods on that left-hand side. And that one stays inbounds for Andy, although it challenges the OB sidewalk. Good flip up, but low for Joseph. At 495, there's maybe from tee to pin, there's a slight gradual incline, maybe, or at best it's flat, but this is really a bonus for anyone that could possibly get up there for an eagle look. And that's going to fade left. As you can see, the slope to the left side is going to pull it down even more. And although the shrubbery took a little off on Andy's tee shot with his solid forehand, he's got a routine approach. And that looks well played. Assuming it doesn't go deep of the pin, that's a well-played shot there by Joseph. Here's Cody for the birdie. Uphill, inside 22 feet. And Cody keeping the pressure on for the lead. Joseph currently one stroke in front of him. Nice straddle by Cyrus. And really just textbook play here by Joseph on hole 23. Keeping it in the middle. Stress-free approach, short tap in for the birdie. You just can't ask for much more. And Andy will also pick up a birdie. However, thinking back to the double bogey a few holes ago, really just bringing his chances to a screeching halt. He's going to need help here as they move over to hole 24. This really has almost a, we'll say, a slightly bent up horseshoe approach. You go out to the left, and then it fades all the way back here to the right. You see it kind of parallel hole number 3. And then this is brought all the way back here. And you can't really cut through the woods. If you do, well, you're looking at finding some form of OB. And there's just really not a route. And this course being 30 years old, I'm hoping a route really never is developed through there, through wear and tear or erosion. That kind of takes away from the entire challenge of this hole. Backhand rollers, certainly common for a righty. I feel like a backhand roller is one of the most likely ways to actually get yourself within a short putting distance. And Cyrus, not quite the release he was hoping for. And he's just trying to fight through a little bit on that inside route. And maybe I stand corrected. If you do have a big enough Sky Annie, obviously that can put you in position. You see a few of these shots that are there. When I think about somebody pinning the hole, I feel like the backhand roller is the more likely methodology that they use. See if Andy can get a long jumper to fall and just off the cage. So what I'd love to know in the comments, that's going to, of course, make you guys eligible to participate and win some kind of swag that I'll give away, whether it's a disc or a shirt or some other goodies from the Disc Golf Guy channel. You need to comment right here on this particular video. Oh, no, as that slides out for Andy. Tell me if you play older courses. Is a course in your area older? Is that one that you go to? Is it your only one? I mentioned earlier Kaposia installed or listed as being installed in 1990. So this course, although has received a number of slight redesigns, there's a few holes that even I used to play that no longer exist on this course from when I visited in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and I competed. But that's what I want to know. What course do you find yourself gravitating to? Newer courses, or do you find yourself with some of these older, we'll say, legacy-style courses in your area? Tell me what that area is. Hole 25, this is a temporary hole that we've seen quite frequently here at the Minnesota Am Championships. Plays slightly downhill. If you've got a righty forehand shot or a sidearm, as Tyler Brickl would call it, it plays to an elevated basket that sits atop the picnic table. And really the main element of design here being the low ceiling. Does play downhill. Cody finding some of the hanging branches there. Here's the forehand. I really love this play. And, of course, you're playing to that elevated pin. So if you're not parked, you're at least thinking about the basket height. Well, even if you are parked, you're thinking about it. for the backhand shot. Quite effective. Solid bid for Cody, but he'll have to be okay with the 3. Now here's Joseph trying to pick up yet another stroke on Cody. So he can't take advantage. Meanwhile, Andy finds the birdie. And a great comeback after giving up the bogey on the previous hole. Looks like Cyrus and Andy were invited to the picnic. Having birdies for lunch, but we have just a few holes left to play, and it remains very tight. Joseph, the 2-stroke lead over Cody. There's 26 and 27 left to play. That one a little bit left center, but falls in. And we move over. Hole number 26. Speaking of lunch, jerky treats. 415 feet, low ceiling. Got to miss all of this. Ideally, you get up maybe to this side, and then you have either the inside cheater route or you can go out and around. I won't call it the cheater route. It's the inside shortcut. But then very, very close to the road, which, of course, is out of bounds. So a lot of danger here on 26. I've seen some hearts broken and some miraculous shots on this hole throughout the years. And all things considered, not a bad result, even if Andy's release wasn't quite dialed there. Here's a good-looking shot by Cyrus. And Cody's really going to have to apply some pressure here. Hole 27 up ahead is a very, very basic 200-foot shot. So I feel like if you're going to make any kind of move or make something happen, you really have to get this one. Although 27 does have danger. And just piping it. Great shot by the 14-year-old. And it would take a near miraculous shot to really put himself up there for the birdie look, but we'll have to see where that lands. It might be just that. And here's the inside route. Now, whether Cyrus was trying to play right to this position or not, he finds the inside route and it sits down. A little danger behind the pin, but a very makeable birdie look. Nice and creative and very effective. What a shot by Cody. We'll have to see where that eventually sat down, but that was as good of a shot as he could have thrown. I feel like you give him 10 more chances there. I'm not sure you can improve much on where that landed. Joseph all amped up. A little too much juice on it, he said, but it sat. This is Andy's third. This hole averaged at 4.21, so above par. A quick tap in there. Cyrus assessing just how much room. The distance between him and the basket is about the same distance between the basket and the road on the backside. You're definitely going to want to hit some solid metal or drop this one in. Otherwise, it could easily find the road. Solid. Little fist pump. Carry some momentum into your final hole. Oh, and Cody can't convert. Earlier you had seen Joseph tap in, which pushed him to the 27. Cody certainly couldn't be down 3 going into the final hole. Now, going down 2, there's an easy birdie bogey opportunity that could happen on the short final hole, but being down 3, that gives Joseph all the cushion he should likely need. Big shout out to all my Patreon subscribers and supporters. So much of the off-season content or slow season content or bonus content that's brought to you throughout the entire year is a direct result of you guys supporting me via Patreon. I'm going to continue to beef up those reward programs and those incentives, but truly dozens of rounds that are provided throughout the year, if not hundreds, are provided simply because of your support and my Patreon channel. And OB is 15, 20 feet directly behind the pin. So that's why I say somebody could easily go out of bounds, maybe doesn't convert, and walks away with a bogey. That is certainly possible, but again, Joseph has the 3-stroke cushion at this point, and then he puts a great shot up there. And also a great battle and performance here out of Andy throughout the weekend, but ran into some trouble. A young 14-year-old trying to lock it in. A solid finish for Cyrus. Cyrus, thanks for the insights and a few of the details before we did the commentary. Looking forward to seeing you more out there on the tour. Cody's going to give the honors, even if he was closer, as will Andy. Everybody knows this is Joseph's tournament. I'm going to guess his dad said, hey, you can run this. You've got no worries. You don't need to lay it up. And like he would ever need to. Billy Ashton getting in there, handing off the trophy. Congratulations, Joseph. It's been such an honor to watch this and to watch how you've performed. Big shout out to Tom, along with Dustin and everyone else involved. Looks like we've got Tom all queued up. He's going to check in with you, give you guys the interview for our champion, Joseph Calabrese. Thanks for joining, guys.
Well, I'm here with the winner of the men's advanced division, Joseph Calabrese. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You had the lead 2 strokes going into today. Tell me about your round.
I don't know. I had a kind of a rough start, like really lots of pars kind of, but then I had a stretch where I went like, I think 7 down through 6 or something. And then I kind of just started getting more birdies, and then I stopped at the harder holes, but then I just kept going and ended up winning.
And you're how old?
14.
14. Well, congratulations again, Joseph. Yeah. Let's give a hand for our champion.